Good evening and welcome to the University of Southern Indiana's orientation Zoom sessions. We are so thrilled that you're with us this evening to learn a little bit more about the university. We are excited to have your students on campus here in the fall, and we take great responsibility in terms of providing services to help them be successful. My name's Carmen Stone. I'm the Director of Student Development Programs, and we're coordinating these programs, but we have several staff members from around campus who are with us tonight to give you some more information about their areas. I do want to introduce a couple of staff members first. John Race is also on here. He's doing a lot of behind the scenes, but he'll be around to help you as well. So this is the fourth topic in our series of topics that we're presenting on Thursday night to students. And tonight we're going to talk about services that are here to assist your student. Everything from disability resources to the counseling center to student support services and our multicultural center. We are recording this so that we can put it on the web later, so you'll be able to refer back to it at other points, or if you know of other people who would like to see it, they'll be able to do that on the web. Give us about a week to get that up. We do ask that you keep yourself muted while we're in sessions. We are going to take questions after a short presentation by the different offices. You can put your questions in the chat feature at the bottom, and then we'll direct those to the appropriate person to answer those. But to get us started, I want to introduce the staff who's with us here this evening. So Aaron Pryor is the Program Director of Student Support Services.
Hello.
Rhonda Stone, who is the Manager of Disability Resources.
Hello.
Dr. Tom Longwell, who's the Director of our Counseling Center.
Good evening, nice to see y'all.
And Pam Hobson, who's our Executive Director of the Multicultural Center.
Good evening.
We also have a couple of other staff from the Student Support Services area that are here that you'll get introduced to in a little bit. I do also want to introduce you to two of our current students. They're our orientation leaders, amigos, who are with us tonight. We have Garrett.
Hello.
And Allie.
Hello.
So in the questions, if you have a question and you want it from a student's perspective, we do have a few students here to help answer those questions as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron Pryor to start the presentation part of this, which will last about 30 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions. Aaron?
All right, thank you guys. I am going to, hold on one second here. A little issue with the screen share. There we go. I wanted to talk to you guys real briefly about free support on campus for you guys. I'm going to talk to you about TRIO Student Support Services. And I could talk about our program and take up this whole hour, but I'm going to try to yield my time and keep it short and just kind of hit you with the highlights. So tonight I'm just going to talk about who we can serve in our program, give you just a brief overview of how our program can help, and then most importantly, how to get connected to our services. And then I do have two staff with me as well. If you see them in the participant area, we have Va Kuhn with us, who is our academic counselor. And we also have Macy Cox, who is our graduate assistant. We also have a third staff who's not with us this evening, Medea Erickson, who is our academic coordinator. So let me just jump into talking about who we can serve on campus. So our program is grant funded through the Department of Education. And so because we're a grant, the grant kind of determines who we're able to help. And so our program serves three main groups of individuals. Students are either first generation college students, meaning that neither mom or dad currently have a bachelor's degree. If mom or dad have an associate's degree or a technical degree, or if your brother or sister are in college, then the student would still qualify as a first generation college student. We serve students who meet income eligibility. So usually if you have a Pell Grant with your financial aid package, it's a good indicator that you'd qualify for our program. Or if you have any sort of documented disability. So anything that you would be receiving accommodations for here on campus with disability resources, that would also qualify you to apply to our program. So those three criteria get you in the door for our program. So the big question is, what is it that we do for our students? So the reason we identify those three categories of students are we know that inherently coming into higher education, there are additional barriers unique to those three categories. And our staff are kind of uniquely aware of those as well, because we come from similar backgrounds. I was low income and first generation myself. And so our program is really here to help students just navigate the world of higher education. And so on your screen, you see just a real quick listing of some of the services that we're able to provide. And this just kind of scratches the surface. So among some of the bigger things that we do academic advising above and beyond what you'll get through your major. So if you have a declared major on campus, then you will have an academic advisor, and we'll be listed as your secondary advisors. And so we will still assist our students with course selection. What's kind of cool is if you change your major at some point and you get a new advisor at the university, if you're in our program, you'll always have us as a secondary advisor. So we follow our students from the time they enter our program until the time that they graduate. If you're undecided, we actually take over as your primary advisors as well until you declare a major. We have a peer mentoring program in SSS, and so what that means is all of our incoming freshmen, we pair with an upperclassman. And so you have a peer on campus that can help guide you and transition you both academically and socially to USI and to what is the college experience. We have academic coaching, so helping our students to build their skills to the level that it needs to be to perform in the college classroom. So helping our students with college level writing, study preparation, how to read your textbooks more efficiently. So all of those things just to kind of build your skills so that you're able to perform at your peak. We have one-on-one tutoring for our students, financial counseling. So not to take the place of financial aid, but what we do is offer services more holistically with financial counseling. So we can assist students with kind of understanding the financial aid packages that they have, but we can also help students with like personal finances and helping them like apply for scholarships, both in our program and with the university. So we're helping our students get connected financially. We also, within our program, have something called grant aid. So if you are in our program and you've been in our program for at least a year and you're an active participant, then there is a financial incentive that you can apply for within our program that basically functions like a scholarship. We help our students with career and major exploration. We help our students as they're transitioning out of college with both graduate school preparation and also workforce readiness. So that means helping students with resume development, interview skills, helping students look for and apply for graduate programs, helping them with the job search process. And we're developing those skills and other soft skills all along the way. So in a real brief synopsis of what is our program, we're really here to help transition our students into college. We pump our students full of different resources while they're here to make them as successful as possible while in school. And then as you are approaching that bachelor's degree, we help transition our students out of the college and into that next step, whatever that may be for them. And then while you're in the program, we also have a bunch of other things to kind of supplement your experience. Like we also know serving students, especially like low income students, that you may not have access to the same kinds of opportunities that other students may have. And so we provide through our program free programming, like cultural experiences where we'll do things like going to museums, we'll take our students to plays and musicals. We also offer like academic workshops throughout the year as well. So we're always focusing on building community and then building your experience. But then most importantly, we're here to just kind of fill in all the gaps that you're going to have while you're navigating school. So you see at the bottom, we mentioned personal guidance, which is kind of all encompassing. So we even help our students deal with things like homesickness. We help them identify if additional like community or campus resources are needed. If students are indicating things like needing counseling, we help students get connected to that resource. You're going to hear from Dr. Tom Longwell in a little bit, who will talk about the Counseling Center. And so we just help get our students connected to all of these different things. So in short, we kind of sell ourselves as your academic family. So the last thing I want to mention about our program is the most important piece, and that's how do I apply? So on this screen is a quick step-by-step of how you get connected to our program. There is an application to get into our program, but once you're in until you graduate. So the quickest way to locate our application is to go to the main USI website and search Student Support Services in the search bar. And then on the side, we have a tab called How to Become a Participant. And then right in the middle of that page is the application for our program. Once you apply, we will contact the student to complete an interview process. And then once they are accepted into the program, then they will be one of 140 students that have access to those individualized one-on-one services. So, like I said, I could talk about our program for a long time, but I just wanted to hit you guys with the highlights. You know, myself and my staff are going to be here for questions at the end. So feel free to save up those questions, and look forward to answering those for you. And I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda Stone in Disability Resources.
Hi, yeah, I'm here to talk to you about the disability resources, different kinds of supports, and how you get your student in, not really enrolled, but to be able to get accommodations. Our program is for students who have disabilities, and a lot of our students that we serve are students who received accommodations in K through 12 through the special education. Many of our students will have had IEPs or 504 plans, but not all of them do. We also serve students that have like medical and health conditions. So just basically any disability. I've got a list up here on the PowerPoint that kind of shows the variety. We have the typical disabilities of learning, attention, sensory type disabilities. We also have a lot of students right now with mental health type disabilities as well as attention problems. We also put things in place to support students who have seizure disorders and different kinds of neurological issues. First thing that we usually need from our students is to get documentation of that disability. And you can definitely ask questions or call and talk with us. That's usually the best thing, is to get in touch, and then we can kind of walk through what kind of documentation we need, because it really depends on the disability. If someone with a medical condition, of course, is going to be getting something from a medical doctor. The mental health is sometimes coming from their psychologist, if that's who they work with. So the documentation is the first piece. And once we receive that, we reach out to your student, and usually via email, and say, hey, we've got your documentation. Let's get together and talk about what kinds of accommodations that you may need as a student here at USI. So that's how the process gets started. We have a large variety of accommodations. Our most common one is students receiving accommodations on their exams. A lot of our students will get like 50% extra time on their exams to be able to test in a reduced distraction area. Some of our students need readers for their exams. It really just depends on what their disability is, what accommodations that we approve. We also have students who may need note takers in class. Students with vision impairments may need large print, hearing impairments, and may need captions. So it really just depends on the need, and then we put things in place to help support them. We also help students if they need certain accommodations in the housing. Like some of our students have to have a first floor room because they're not able to do steps, or maybe they need a single for a reason because of some sort of medical condition or something like that. We also help students get like parking permits, which of course we have the handicap parking spots here, but we also have a tag that says DR on it for students to be able to drive their cars to campus and park in any spot, because the handicap spots are not always the closest spot to where the student needs to go, and that sticker allows that. We also help them with, if they have food allergies, we help them make that connection to our food services here to make sure that they can get food that's safe for them to eat with, through their meal plan. So we do work with a variety of departments on campus. We're partners with our counseling center, with the student support services, pretty much most of the departments on campus. So we also meet with our students to talk about different things like what do they need as far as time management, organization, and study skills. We find that sometimes our students don't have real strong skills in these areas. So we spend time working with them on, let's look at your syllabus and see when your exams are and when your papers are. Do you have 3 things coming up in 1 week, and what can we do about that? to help them think those kinds of things through and develop those skills. One thing that we're really big on is trying to help students become better self-advocates. Oftentimes they'll come in and they're like, what do I do? And our approach is always, well, tell us what you've already tried and what is your goal, and let's come up with a plan together to figure this out, to help them learn to think through those kinds of things. We also help them explore like any kinds of assistive technology that may be helpful to them. Some of our students with reading impairments can use a program that's free called Natural Reader, and it is a text-to-speech program that they can highlight it and then hear what's being said as they're reading. We have smart pens on campus that they can use for note takers, and they can go back and tap something and be able to hear what was being said when they wrote it. So we have a lot of ideas and suggestions for assistive technology that often students are not aware of. So it's pretty much like we try to support the student as a whole student academically, as well as the disability piece of it. We do have 3 staff people in our office, myself, and we have a coordinator who also meets with students and makes accommodation decisions. And we have an administrative assistant who pretty much takes care of everybody. We consider her our mom in our office. But one thing we also do here is our students that get testing accommodations take their exams within our office. We have testing rooms here. So if a student needs to get extra time on their exam, their professor will know that and send the exam to us. And the student just shows up here on test day, and we'll have their test ready for them so that they can take it here. So please let me know if you have questions. We have our contact information coming up on one of the slides. You can also visit the Disability Resources website. We have quite a bit of information there. This is such an individualized thing depending on what your student needs. So kind of gather some information, prepare some questions, and give us a call. We'll be happy to talk with you. So thank you.
Hi there. Good evening. I'm Tom Longwell. I'm director of the Counseling Center. And one of the things I've learned in my 40+ years is how easy life is. Obviously, I'm joking, right? We know that life can be filled with challenges and difficulties. If the pandemic hasn't taught us anything, it's that. Life can be a challenge and a struggle. And we want to be able to provide services for our students to support them no matter what's going on in their life. A lot of students come in to see our professionally trained counselors for a variety of different reasons. Whether it's students struggling with homesickness, struggling with finding their spot at USI, making connections, to struggles with anxiety, depression, substance use concerns, eating disorders. We're here to help your students. So what we do is we provide individual counseling as well as group counseling to our students. Provide that good, positive support, compassion, kindness, give a kind, caring ear, as well as offer some support and some guidance to help our students develop those positive coping mechanisms and skills that they need to be a success. And the reason we offer these services is we know that when we're not at our best emotionally, we're not at our best academically either. So we really view our services as an educational and a learning opportunity for your students to truly grasp that who they're supposed to be, and to really take advantage of these learning opportunities to help them socially, emotionally, and academically. A couple of the things I always do like to share about the Counseling Center and our services. First off, I want everybody on the call to know that our services are confidential. And this is a very important piece of what we do. And it's really core to our mission at the university, as well as core to our mission as counselors. And the reason this is so core is for our students to truly benefit, for our students to truly feel that we are on their side. They need to know that whatever they share with a counselor stays with a counselor. And that allows our students to take a chance, just to maybe share things that maybe they've never shared with anybody before. And that allows our students to feel trusted and heard and supported and get that good, positive advice. Another piece of information I would like to share is that when our students meet with one of our professionally trained counselors, it doesn't cost them any additional money. So there's no co-pays or insurance billing, anything like that. We are truly here for your students. Now, our services are geared towards your students, absolutely. But we also do have some services available for you as parents. It's if we have some parents on the call. And the reason we have this is it's hard when we struggle. But I think what's even harder is when we see our loved ones struggle, because we feel our loved ones' pain deeply. But yet there can also come with it a sense of helplessness. How do I help this person that I love and care for so deeply? And I'm feeling lost and I don't know where to go, where to turn. You know, I'm not sure whether I should be talking to this Bursar's office, because what is that anyways? Or I'm not sure whether I should be talking to housing, or I just don't know where to go, what to do. And I know they're struggling emotionally. So if this is your student, please do feel free to reach out to the Counseling Center. Again, our contact information is going to be the last slide. If that is, you know, if your student is struggling, please reach out to the Counseling Center. You can speak to me directly, or if I'm not available, my assistant director, Dr. Ashley Everett, or you can also ask to speak to our on-call counselor. And we can give you some support, some guidance, talk with you about a variety of different resources on campus, such as disability resources, such as our student support services, as well as our multicultural center, as well as lots of other awesome resources on campus to help support you and help you to guide your student during those difficult times. And with that, I'm going to toss it to Pam Hobson, our fantastic executive director of the Multicultural Center.
Thank you, Tom. So as you heard many of our colleagues this evening talk about the fact that we're here for your student, your loved one, and the Multicultural Center is no different. We are here to make sure that your student has a safe space on campus, whether they want to come into the center just to have a conversation, or maybe they're dealing with some other issues. So we do a lot of programming out of the Multicultural Center, but I have been asked to share some of the services that we provide. So let's start with academic support. So your loved one, I'm sure, has excelled in their classes while they've been in high school. And we have no doubt that they won't do the same when they come to USI. However, they may find that studying for high school is a little bit different than studying for college. And because of that, we do have someone in our office by the name of Jada Hogg. She is our outreach coordinator and student mentor who is available to help students with their homework with regards to trying to critically think what those answers might be. And so although we're assisting them with their homework, it is by no means a replacement to academic skills. We expect all of our students to utilize those services out of academic skills, but sometimes students need some one-on-one help, and this is by appointment only. Also, tutoring. You will notice that we do a lot of collaboration across campus, and we have a partnership with Academic Skills to offer tutoring in the Multicultural Center. So not only is it offered in Academic Skills, but it is offered as well in the Multicultural Center. There, if students come there, then they have a chance to receive more one-on-one attention with regards to the subject matters. And some of the subjects that they can find that they can get help with would be math, science, and some of our social science courses as well. Diversity book collection. So we have a very diverse book collection. It is a part of the David L. Rice Library. However, it is housed in the Multicultural Center. So if your student goes to the David L. Rice Library, or they get online to check to see where a book is located, then it will say the Multicultural Center. This collection of books is written by or about many people who have been considered marginalized, and it is a supplemental collection to the David L. Rice Library. Life skills outreach. So life skill outreach, we started a group this semester, and it is another collaborative initiative. It's called Healing Circle. Healing Circle is focused on having safe conversations in safe spaces centered around race relations. So we know that our country has a pandemic with regards to COVID-19. We also are experiencing a pandemic with regards to race relations. So this is called Healing Circles, whereby we are able to unpack and process those things that students are witnessing across our nation and how that might impact them as a college student. Also, life coaching. Again, your student, I know they are doing fantastic, or they did fantastic in high school, but college is different. College is different. And so within those life coaching sessions, then we are bringing in speakers across campus. We are bringing in speakers within the community. It could focus on anything from finances, because some students may be receiving some financial aid, or you may be supplementing their education and trying to figure out, what does that look like? Do I know how to keep track and balance of the funds that I have in order to be able to pay the bills that the university may expect them to pay? Or do I have enough to purchase my books? Or do I have enough with regards to living expenses? So life coaching, those sessions typically take place every other week during the academic school year. Panduse. Panduse is a collaborative initiative with the Counseling Center, and it's for our Latinx students. So there are some things that our Latinx students feel like they need to discuss or unpack in order to be successful on campus, or just in the community, or life in general. And this particular session is geared for them, although any student can actually attend Panduse. And I must tell you that it has been a success on campus with regards to some of the topics that they have covered. It has included topics with regards to immigration, topics with regards to family situations. Many times the students are speaking both languages, so they're speaking English and Spanish on campus, but at home, it could be that a family member is only speaking Spanish. So trying to navigate through what that looks like as they are becoming young adults. And then Power Hour, another collaborative initiative with the Counseling Center, and it is open to all students, And within that, within Power Hour, we're having conversations that center around, it could be anything. It could be politics. It could be something going on campus that students want to unpack. And I say unpack, but what does that mean to your student, your loved one, as it relates to them being successful on campus? It is student-driven, student-led, but we facilitate that. And so there's typically one one staff member from the Counseling Center and one staff member from the Multicultural Center there to just help facilitate that. And also, this is another one of those safe spaces where students can pretty much speak their mind as long as they are not offending anyone else. And we also want to make sure that they have a chance to debrief before leaving that session. And the last thing that I listed here, although this list is not inclusive of all the services that we offer, would be student print relief. So I know that your loved one will come to campus, they will have a laptop or a desktop computer. I'm sure that some will have printers. I'm sure that some will want to print, and there are printing services offered across campus. But this particular one, sometimes students just need to print off a quick paper to turn in to their professor. They're able to pop in and do so. We do have a limit on the number of pages that students can use or print per printing, but it does come in handy, especially near the end of the semester when funds might be running a little low. So at this point, I'm going to stop and turn it back over to our facilitator, I believe.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all for your presentation. I have up on the screen for a few minutes here contact information for the various offices and staff members who are with us tonight. So if you'd like that, I would encourage you to take a quick picture of it if you can. All of this is also available online on the website, so you can also search there if you're needing some. But we'd love to answer your questions. We just ask that you put those into the chat feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will start asking questions to the staff that's here with us. So we are just waiting your questions. So maybe one of the things that we can do while you all think of questions that you might have is we do have two of our Amigos orientation leaders with us. And if either one of them would like to talk a little bit about, you know, services that they use on campus or services they know students use on campus and how they use them for different things.
For me, I use a lot of different resources here on campus at USI. Some of the resources I do use is the Multicultural Center. I am a multicultural leadership scholar, so I mean, I'm always in that office, and it's a very open office. Anyone can go in there. It don't matter what race or what you believe in. We're a very open group. I also go to academic skills, and in case I need help on homework or something like that, I know I always can go to them, or the writing lab, see if I missed that comma in like my paper or something in that sort. I also go to the computer labs that sometimes my computer might die, I didn't bring my charger. I know all the LA building or the Language Art building and Pot College will have places where I can go there and go on something and make sure I can print off. I can print off there too. Like the library is not the only place that you can print off. There's different resources and different places that you can print off to.
Yeah, I would like to agree with Garrett. I definitely think some of the resources I use most are the Writing Center and Academic Skills, because a lot of them, or a lot of times whenever I'm going in there, it may not necessarily be that I'm not confident in my own work, but a lot of times it's just that after looking at it so many times, I feel like I need a fresh perspective on it. And then also with the Writing Center, I love going in there whenever I'm just starting my paper, because a lot of times they can give you really good ideas on how to start it whenever you may be stuck in that kind of what do I do phase.
Okay, so we're gonna ask Rhonda a question. Can you talk a little bit about your office hours and when the best time is to reach you? I also sent the question to you in chat if that's. Oh, let's unmute you.
Okay, our office is open until from 8 till 7:30, Monday through Thursday. And then we are open from 8 to 4:30 on Fridays. The best way to reach us would be either by calling our office phone or sending us an email. Either of those would be fine. We're pretty quick at responding to emails. So, whichever you're more comfortable with would be a good way to connect.
Rhonda, so are you open till 7:30 right now in the summer, or is that just during the school year?
That would be during the school year when we have both fall and spring semesters. We're open till 7:30. The reason for that is there's often night classes, and then we have students in those classes that may need testing accommodations. So we stay open so that those students can utilize our services. So we don't really have night classes through the summertime. So yeah, it's just those 2 semesters.
So if you're needing to get a hold of them this summer to make arrangements, do it before 4:30. So
Yes.
Counseling Center. Tom, can you talk a little bit about options for telehealth if we have students who need assistance but they're not able to come to campus?
Sure. Yeah, so we're very excited to offer telehealth. That was something we started as a part of the COVID-19 response and the pandemic. It was definitely a change for us. And we've been actually enjoying it quite a bit, and a number of our students have really been enjoying it. It's nice that students can access and work with a counselor from the comfort of their own home. For the upcoming fall and spring semester, the vast majority of our services will be via telehealth. Only in rare circumstances will we actually offer in-person counseling services. Actually, and again, I'm actually very excited about this because, again, our students are loving it. It's a great way to meet and connect with your counselor. So it's going to be a positive service for our students moving forward in fall and spring semester.
Allie, you talked a little bit about using the Writing Center. Can you talk about where the Writing Center is located?
Yeah, so if you go in the Education Center or Science Center doors, it's going to be on that first floor. And whenever you get in, as soon as you walk in, you're going to turn to the left, and it's going to be right down that hallway.
Okay. Erin, this question's for your area. So the one-on-one tutoring that happens through the TRIO program, can you talk about, is that with a fellow student or a staff member? And are there set hours for that tutoring? Maybe
Sure.
explain a little more about the tutoring program.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's kind of a 2-part answer. So I mentioned academic coaching as one of our services and tutoring. And so a lot of the academic coaching that occurs is going to be one-on-one with our staff. So if we are meeting with a student to talk about like improving writing skills, for example, or working on developing new test taking strategies or test preparation kinds of strategies, then a lot of times that's happening in a one-on-one meeting with our staff members. The tutoring, we identify students who function as the tutors. And so one of the benefits of the tutoring with SSS is that we do still go through academic skills first. So academic skills is our kind of main tutoring department here on campus. And traditionally, the way they've been set up kind of pre-COVID is it's been walk-in and you come to the table where you need the service. And then sometimes it's one-on-one with a tutor, but sometimes there may be multiple students at that table that are all seeking help with a particular subject. But then in student support services, our tutoring is one-on-one. So if the academic skills setting isn't working for our students, then we provide a tutor for them because maybe the one-on-one tutoring is better for them, or maybe they're in a unique situation where they can't utilize academic skills in the traditional sense. And so we give our tutors the flexibility to set up that schedule with the student. So let's say that you needed assistance with math tutoring and you have some odd hours, maybe you're working heavy hours while in school and you can only do tutoring in the evening or on a weekend. If our tutor is willing to meet with you during that time, then you're able to connect at that time. So our tutors don't have set schedules. It's individualized based off of student needs and if you have an overlap in availability in your schedules.
So a follow-up question about academic skills, and is that what Allie was referring to? So it is. We've talked a little bit about academic skills in different ways here, and they're not on this call. They've been a part of some other ones, but academic skills, like Aaron said, is our primary academic support area on campus that supports all of our students. And they provide some of the tutoring and some of the some of the coaching, study skills coaching, those kind of things as well. Aaron's area is actually a part of that department. They're all part of University Division and over there. So he may be able to talk a little bit more about academic skills in general, but they're all located in roughly the same area over there in the Education Center.
Yeah, we're at, so Student Support Services and Academic Skills, we are under the umbrella of University Division. Student Support Services is not directly associated with academic skills, but they, like many of the other departments that are in this call, have a very close collaboration. And so certainly feels like like we share that same space pretty often. We make a lot of referrals to them, and they make a lot of referrals to us as well. So academic skills, their kind of main service is tutoring, and then some academic coaching as well. And then the big differential between academic skills and student support services is the academic coaching for us and the tutoring for us is one piece of the whole picture for us. So student support services, we offer more holistic services. So tutoring and academic coaching are one piece, but then we also offer like the academic advising. We offer the mentoring program. We offer the financial aid piece. And so those are all things that are unique to student support services, whereas the coaching and the tutoring, there is overlap in the way that those are delivered.
So another question was about the Zoom meetings and where to find the recordings, and they're on the orientation website. I'll have John post that link in there, but it's we post them in a couple different places. There's a link on our orientation site about virtual meetings, and we'll post it there. We also post it on a page called Resources, and that resource page is a great place for you to go to see other things as well, because there is videos on there from different departments. Like the Counseling Center has a much longer video for parents of kind of how to let go, how to be the parent of a college student and do some of that. I know we have some other ones on there about 21st Century Scholars and all the past Zoom meetings and some other videos that have been produced by areas on campus. So that resource page is a great place for you to go as well, to watch other ones that have happened, future ones, as well as some pre-recorded information sessions. So Pam, maybe you can talk a little bit about, with all the COVID stuff, what kind of virtual services or programs are you offering?
So just about all of our programming will be virtual or it will be hybrid. One of the first programs that we will offer will be the Cultural Diversity Welcome Reception, which will take place the Thursday before classes start. And I believe it might be one of the last days for move-in check-in. That will be the first one. Of course, we invite family members as well. However, because this year is spread out over a number of days, we do realize that some family members may not come as well. Some of the other things that we will be offering on campus virtually would be Motivational Monday. We have that. We have lunch with the MCC, which will take place on Thursdays. We also have a financial literacy program. I did not mention that. It is a partnership with a couple of financial institutions here in the community, as well as Hope of Evansville, and we started that program last year. It will continue virtually as well. We have listed all of our virtual events and shared them with student development office as well. And during the summer we did that, and there's no doubt that we won't do that for the upcoming year as well. So I would say get out there, check it out, see what there's to offer. Some of those things, even some of the family members might want to join in as well. And we look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Tom, can you talk a little bit about some of the programs you do beyond counseling? Because we know you're doing some virtual programs as well for students to connect in a different way than just individual counseling and group counseling.
Mhm. Yeah, and we've traditionally done a lot of programming outside of the counseling office as well. That's something that's very important to us as the counseling center, because we want to make sure we're making a healthy, emotionally healthy campus community. I know Ms. Hobson talked a lot about the Power Hour in Palm Dulce, some great programs that we co-sponsor with that office. But you'll often find us across campus giving talks on stress management, healthy relationships, kind of dealing with the peaks and valleys of life. We also partner with lots of offices on just lots of different programs across campus, bringing speakers to campus, so forth and so on, all of which is designed to support our students, help them make good choices. One of my favorite topics that we've done in the past is bouncing back from failure. I love that particular program because sometimes we get this perspective that I failed or I struggled, and that means I'm a failure. What we always try to rephrase that is you struggled, but we're going to make that, it's almost like a bow and arrow. We're going to take that, stretch you back, but it's going to launch you into something greater. So we have lots of programs like that throughout the year. With the closure of campus, as we've mentioned, a lot of programs have moved virtually. So throughout the previous semester, as well as over the summer, we've had lots of programs. We had programs such as we call Coffee with the Counseling Center, where we just get together with students as well as different offices and just have a chat, talking about positive coping, as well as kind of how we support our students. We had all those workshops on stress management, healthy relationships, and the peaks and valleys of life. All of those were online on a weekly basis. We have a wonderful program called Safe Plates, and that's right around the lunch hour where we all have a meal together, and it's focused on a healthy at every size model. And so the idea is just to gather for a meal, to not talk about weight, but to just focus on the enjoyment of being together in company and enjoying our food and our body. So, I mean, those are some of the great programs we offer.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure which one of you can help answer this, so feel free to jump in. Will there be extra support for students and or staff training to deal with the aftermath or in the midst of COVID? So any specific programming we're doing to help students dealing with COVID-19?
I don't know of like a large program just yet. I will say I anticipate that a lot of students are going to come to our various offices because of those struggles. You know, given the increase that we are seeing in the coronavirus, you know, I think it's going to be the rare person that hasn't been impacted by it in some way, whether they've had the virus themselves, had a family member or a friend who's had the virus, and God forbid, have lost a family member or friend to it. So I think that's going to impact a good number of our students because it's going to impact a large portion of our society as well. So I think a lot of our offices are going to support our students through that. Again, one of the things that I love about USI is how connected our students are to the variety of different people on campus. And I think wherever they go, they're going to get that positive support, kindness, and compassion. I'll speak to my office specifically. At the start of the year, we often get a lot of students that are just anxious about college in general. I think that's going to be amplified in the coming year because thinking about physical distancing, being away from your loved ones, and then not only are you then physically separated from them, but then there's the concern of not having that sense of control or power in that scenario. So I anticipate a lot of our students are going to utilize the counseling center at the start of the year. So because we know that, we have a system set up where students with that urgent need who are just not okay, or if they have a friend or a loved one that all of a sudden gets diagnosed with it, or heaven forbid they do, we're going to have that support for them right then and there. They're not going to be forced to wait a week or 2 weeks. We have our system in place where they can meet with a counselor pretty much right away. Our goal is to get our students seen for any kind of urgent or emergency situations right away. It might be a little bit of a wait in terms of like 15, 20 minutes, but we have a system in place where they can be able to support and receive that kindness, compassion, and help them through it.
And I'd like to piggyback on that. With COVID-19, even though the fall hasn't started, we had we've all been impacted by this since the latter part of February, the first part of March. And I can say that just about all of our staff members on campus, students, have built some sort of relationship with either a faculty member or an administrator or a USI employee in general. And because of the relationship and that trust that they have in them, typically the conversations that have centered around COVID-19 have been personal one-on-one conversations with regards to coping. And I know that in the Multicultural Center, we are very hands-on with our students. So they do lean on us quite frequently. They have all of our phone numbers, including our cell phone numbers and our house numbers. If it gets to the point where we feel like that individual needs professional guidance, then that's when we will refer them to the counseling center or another entity on campus. But I can say that this past school year, there may have been one, maybe two group conversations with regards to COVID-19, but it pretty much has been a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, one thing I would like to add to just regarding student support services and how we work with students. I think one of the biggest benefits that our program had to the students, especially at the start of this pandemic, is just thinking about helping our students navigate the flood of information that was coming at them. So if you see that link that John posted for the COVID-19, if you go to the website and you start looking through, you'll notice that there is a ton of great information, but there is a ton of information. And so as a student, or especially as a new student that's trying to navigate just like the language of higher education in general, and then you're having information thrown at you about pass, no pass options, and you're trying to figure out how your financial aid is going to be affected by the changes that happened in the spring semester, for example. That's really overwhelming. It's like trying to drink water from a fire hose. And so the kind of support that our program gives, when I mentioned that it's holistic, this is a prime example. Our program kind of functioned as like a shock absorber for our students, in that we've taken all that information that's coming from all these different sources, and then we individualize the experience for our students, right? So like, what does this policy change mean for you? What does this when we're talking about having like pass, no pass options in the spring semester, what does that mean I should do for my classes? And so we help to break down all of the whirlwind of information for our students in a digestible way that makes sense for each of those individuals. So that's one way that our program has helped kind of navigate just the world of COVID as well.
I think you'll find that departments across campus are here to support our students in all ways, and we're all preparing for what that means in the COVID era with us, whether it's the University Health Center, an individual department, how we program, how we help students connect. All of us are trying to figure out how do we best support our students through this, and any staff member on campus is going to be willing to sit and talk to a student and help them navigate what that means. And if a student comes down with COVID, we have things in place to assist them. Places set aside apartments to help them isolate or separate themselves, support from faculty to continue with their studies during that time. All of that's been put into place so that we can assist students if that would occur. So any other questions? We are reaching kind of the final minutes of this program, but I do want to let you ask any other questions that you might have. If you don't have any other questions, thank you so much for being with us this evening and learning a little bit more about this. I'm going to have John Race just give a quick shout out about an activity that some of your students may choose to participate in, or if you're a student on here, you might be interested in doing this summer as a way to start connecting with people on campus. John?
Yeah, so we, in the past, we've had a camp program during the summer on campus. However, we've made it a virtual program, so it's called Virtual Camp Eagle. I will post the link in the chat box. So this is just a great opportunity. It's on August 7th and August 8th. And it's a Friday night and then during the day Saturday. And this is just a great way to help new students meet with other students. We'll have student leaders helping facilitate team building and group activities, and just a fun way to meet some new students before getting on campus. I know we won't be able to do the in-person opportunity, but this will be a fun way. So again, this is a free program. Students do need to pre-register. And so the link will take you to usi.edu/Camp Eagle. There's more information on there. So there's spots still available. So we'd be happy to have your students in the program. So we're excited to get to know them and prepare them for the school year.
Okay. Thank you, John. So I'm going to throw up a poll here. We'd love for you to just quickly answer these two questions for us so that we get a sense of your time being spent this evening in terms of this session, if it's helping you better prepare for the fall semester here at USI. So students and parents, if you can answer that for us, that would be great. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us. If you're not quite sure where to reach out, just reach out to orientation at usi.edu, and we will forward your information to the appropriate area on campus. All of them are here to support your student in their endeavors and help them be successful while they're here. So we really appreciate your time this evening. Okay. And thank you all for being here as well, presenters. I appreciate you taking your time. Lots of, you can't see the comments here, but things about being very supportive and thanking us for our time, and loved the information that they got. So everyone have a good night.
Thank you guys.